Master told the story of Saint Anthony, who had so many visions of Christ. And this was a time in the early years of Christianity where there came to be this dispute of whether Christ was truly a son of God, if he was an enlightened being, or if he was just a wise teacher. And there was all this dispute and controversy, and it was threatening to tear the church apart in the early days when it was just beginning to spread. And St. Anthony was one of the desert fathers, and he would go into the desert farther and farther. The young monks would keep trying to find him, and he'd go to a more distant place so he could be alone. But he had many visions of Christ. He saw him. He knew what he was. He knew he wasn't just a wise teacher. He knew the reality. And so they called Anthony to this big debate they were having. I believe it was in Alexandria, and they were Egypt, and they were this debate was raging between the church fathers and the scholars, who really are the anathema to religion. But there, Anthony came in, and he stood in the back of the room, and his hair all matted, and his clothing covered with the sand of the desert. His feet, no doubt, were bare. But his presence, because he had seen God, his presence was so strong that without saying a word, that one by one all the voices were silenced and all the eyes turned on him. And he just stood there as he did in the presence of God, and he said simply, "I have seen him." And that was the end of the debate, because he had seen him. And truth has more power than all the arguments of the world and all the philosophical debates. Truth, as Swami says in that wonderful song, the world may change or disappear, but truth can never die. So the more we strive to develop that inner vision and live in that truth and experience it, and to the best of our ability, love God and serve him, and by his grace be able to see him more and more, the more that we live in that truth, and the more we too can have an impact on the world around us.